The synagogue shooter often posted his anti-Semitic views on the website Gab, and political commentator Rochelle Ritchie claims that Twitter ignored her when she flagged the pipe bomb suspect Cesar Sayak's threatening tweets. So really, how much responsibility do they have? And does the media have to take here?
The media should stop covering those rallies of his. That's my one recommendation. It just empowers him more.
Yeah. That seems like a logical response to that question. I mean, come on, we're talking about social media's impact, and we jump to Trump's rally.
I jump wherever I damn please, okay? Hey, that's twice.
Let me say that. Not the topic.
But that's twice. I'm not allowed to change the subject if I want to.
I just thought we were talking about social media.
All right, so you talk about it then.
No, I'm fine.
Go ahead.
You mentioned Gab, Whoopi. I didn't even know what this was. This is the website that the shooter used and posted on. It's a 2-year-old social network that apparently bills itself as a free speech alternative to Facebook and Twitter. It's become a haven for white nationalists, neo-Nazis, and other extremists. So it's basically a place where you can get away with any sort of hate speech you want. It's since been taken down this morning. But it does beg the question of, if you don't go on Twitter, you can create any sort of site that allows for this free speech. We were talking about in the meeting this morning, Sonny. It's a really fine line between what you can get away with.
It makes me uncomfortable because, you know, when I put my legal hat on, I know that we have to protect speech. And I always learn that even the most heinous speech you want to protect, because it's such a slippery slope when you start, you know, deciding which content is okay. And we've talked about this a lot, about shadow banning and, you know, what if conservative Twitter users are taken down? Would we be comfortable with that? Would we be comfortable if very liberal, you know, users are taken down? I think that one answer is there's such a lack of transparency when it comes to these social media sites, right? Because they're not responsible for what users post. They're only responsible for when they're put on notice that this sort of hateful behavior is going on. But does anybody know how they review? Do we see the guidelines? Do we see the books that Twitter uses? How about the content review board that they've hired? What are the demographics are there? How many women are on the board? How many men? How many Latinos? How many African Americans? How many Republicans? How many Democrats? So I want to know what their process is. I think that's more the answer than shut it down and they should be responsible for the content. That makes me very
like
uncomfortable.
you said this morning, when you yell fire in a crowded theater, you're not allowed to do that.
But that's not even the law anymore.
When did
No,
it
it's
change?
not. It
That
changed in
law
1969. I
So
never
you
want
can
to
yell
get
fire
wonky.
in a crowded theater now?
Yes, the only thing you can not do is incite imminent danger. So you can't incite imminent action against others. But you can now, since 69, even yell fire in a crowded theater. That's not illegal speech.
Then what's the fine line? I mean, you can threaten someone's life. You can say racist remarks. I mean, Farrakhan's tweet, I looked yesterday, it's still up there.
It's still
not
up there.
saying that basically Jewish people are termites or comparing them in a horrific way.
Even the most
so what
heinous
is that?
speech
What
is
is that line?
protected.
I mean, free speech is something that we hold so close to our hearts, but it also comes with responsibility. Right? And we can only get away with so much. And I think at some point it's going to have to go to the Supreme Court. More of these cases are to figure out what that line is and what we're willing to tolerate and what we're not.
Especially with technology.
People go around it anyway. You know, I was reading that in Germany now. You're not allowed to use the swastika. It's against the law. So they're using the Confederate flag instead. See, they have a way of getting around.
Or you use Gab.
Yeah.
Or you
So I want to tell you something great that's happening in light of all of this. People who are responding to the tragedy in the correct way, 2 Islamic groups have raised over $100,000 for the victims of the synagogue shootings.
Good.
You know?
Right.
It's still good out there.
Oh, yeah, but a little bit of evil goes a long way.
You can't put too fine a line on it, but it's what we've heard. In spite of everything, I still believe there's good out there.
Very good.
And Frank, we'll be right back.